Welcome to Centro Cultural Mexicano's podcast, Voces Que Luchan, Inspiran. I am Mariana Martinez. I'm the executive director and your host. And this month, May, the month of May, we're celebrating is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we have two very special guests with us. I'm going to put the applause. I usually I can't do two things at once. So we have two really amazing ladies doing amazing work for amazing organizations that are going to help us talk and dive deeper about what they do, what the organizations do, and what's important about mental health. So I have two organizations. So the first one is NAMI, and the second organization is NAMI is short for National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, and basically, and the King County Crisis Care Centers Initiative. Those are both organizations. One is a nonprofit organization and the other one is a governmental organization. And these organizations lead the effort to provide comprehensive, compassionate, and timely mental health care. With NAMI, we'll start there. The nation's largest grassroots mental health organization offers tireless advocacy, educational programs, and peer-led support to empower individuals and families. Mm-hmm. So with that, or representing NAMI, we have Rommy Romero, who is their community support manager. Rommy graduated from the University of Washington with a bachelor's degree in business administration, and she has dedicated a significant portion of her career to working in client-facing roles with legal organizations, supporting vulnerable communities in a variety of legal matters ranging from domestic violence to immigration law. Mm-hmm. And a piece of information that I learned is that Rommy has been here before. So Rommy, welcome. I'll do another applause.
3 years ago.
Yes, you're going to have to tell us a little bit more about that. And Idabel Fose, welcome. Idabel is a bilingual Afro-Latina with a proven track record of her commitment to racial, gender, social, and economic justice work. Before receiving her MSW, Master in Social Work, Idabel did more than 20 years in direct service work with youth and adults around mental health, HIV, domestic violence, substance abuse, and homelessness, and hired, trained, and supervised staff, volunteers, and MSW interns. So I know that you've done a lot more than that, both of you ladies, but welcome. I want to, on behalf of Centro Cultural Mexicano, this is such an important topic. Mental health in our communities is still very much mystified, and there's a lot of demystification. Is that the word? A lot of work that we need to do to make sure that this topic gets to our community. So being that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I love to, get started. Let's dive deeper. Let's talk as much as we can to put out there whatever the amazing work that you do. So why don't we start with you, Rommy? Tell us a little bit more about what the organization does, or anything I did not mention, which I believe I did, but
no problem.
Tell us how it's all right.
No, thank you for inviting me again.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome back.
You guys gave me la patadita of the luck when I started working for NAMI 3 years ago, when I have to do something that I never really done before, which it was providing mental health services for the Latino community. And as you say, it's complicated because mental health is not something that Latino families talk about it freely, comfortably. So part of my job has been meeting families where they at are their knowledge of mental health. I think sometimes we may, as organizations or nonprofits or organizations in general, we know about mental health, but we want to use those terms, those words, those ways to do outreach to people. But it's kind of difficult if you are not speaking their language, if you don't understand them, their culture, what mental health means for them. Maybe you think that they're not taking care of their mental health because they didn't go to a therapist.
Right.
But maybe they did have other ways how to care about their mental health. They just didn't know. Maybe some people like to go to church.
Right.
And
it's
they find...
system, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And then, we've been doing a lot since then. 3 years ago, we did a first event here at Centro Cultural Mexicano, our first velada for Latina moms or Latino moms.
Love it.
And that's how we start creating this amazing network. Now I'm looking at my WhatsApp, and I do have more than 500 people talking to me every day when they need something about related to mental health.
Right.
And then since then, we create support groups, not only for Latino families. We also have English-speaking support groups for families or individuals who are affected by mental health illness. We do have also a lot of workshops when we try to educate people about the importance of mental health and give them tools about how to learn how to do those coping skill tools that you need, because sometimes you feel stressed out, you feel a lot of anxiety, you feel a lot of things that are not okay, and not all of us understand even how to identify those feelings, how to identify those emotions.
Labeling things, right.
Yeah, and then that's also the other thing, that we label things, and that can have
or
a
mislabel things too, right?
Mislabel things, yes, and then that can actually be very bad for your own health, because then you don't understand where you at, and then from that you cannot go through any recovery process,
right? Or healing. Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot more of that. Is that the good thing about NAMI is that we do everything from the people. Like, the people are the ones who actually get trained. They are the ones who get like all those skills to serve their own community.
Right.
It's not about like me, I know this, I have my degree, and I'm gonna teach you. No, everything what we do is from community to community.
I love it. I think there's so much that we can say about mental health that, I grew up thinking, if you say I go to the therapist, they're like, oh, you're crazy. You must be crazy. Like, it's such a bad thing to say you went to the therapist. It's just starting from there. So I think the labeling and the mislabeling and just bringing those topics to, like, let's demystify, let's explain. And like you said, a lot of our communities already are doing this. We're just not conscious or not calling it for what it is. And I love that the meeting populations where they are. I mean, that's something that Centro Cultural does a lot. And that means culturally sensitive, and it means utilizing language that resonates for people. Exactly. Sometimes that also means speaking Spanglish, right? Like, or, right, like deconstructing, simplifying maybe a concept into a way, into a language that resonates, but also a complex concept into something that you can break it down and fragment it so that people can, grasp what that means. So I love that. And lastly, reflecting the communities that you serve, that the same people, like you were just saying, the youth that develop some or provide some of these programs they themselves have gone through and have gone through some struggles and have healed or in the process of recovery, rather, if that's a better way to describe it. They're the ones delivering this. And I think that's the most valuable thing, that, hey, I understand I understand what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, everybody who stands in NAMI programs is people with lived experience.
Right.
Somebody who has been going through immigration grief, which is a thing, is a real thing.
Of course, right.
Anything, like we have a team of youth that they also have this immigration grief, and they didn't even know it. And they've been going to workshops with NAMI, and they've discovered
that that's
they've
how
been
I feel.
Through a lot, and they survive, and they want to, and that inspires them to help other youth, because they know how hard was that process.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think that not knowing that, hey, this sadness or this anger that I'm feeling that is disproportionate comes from somewhere. And if you just kind of trace it back, it's definitely could become a trauma, much, grave trauma. But I think we'll dive deeper, because I know there's a lot of things happening right now in our communities that are affecting and are creating more trauma or unnecessary trauma, if you, it's my personal opinion. But Idabel, King County Crisis Care Centers Initiative. So I'll just say a little bit of what they do at a high level. So the King County Crisis Care Centers Initiative, that's a long name. KCCCC, is that what it is? King County Crisis Care Centers Initiative is creating a vital, accessible system of dedicated crisis centers for mental health and substance use crises, offering immediate stabilizing care as a therapeutic alternative to emergency rooms or jail. And something that's really exciting, and we'll say it now here, is Centro Cultural Mexicano is going to it's partnering with this initiative to offer some amazing things coming in the intersection between raising awareness for what mental health is and art. So I think we look really forward to this, as well as NAMI will be there. But I will tell us a little bit more about maybe just high level, something I haven't mentioned about the organization and why is it so important for the communities before we dive deeper into the topic.
Sure. One of the things that the Crisis Care Center levy was created to do was to address the gap in services for people in King County to have a safe place to go when they needed help with a mental health or substance use crisis. That wasn't an emergency room and it wasn't the jail. And so what we have done is we have started to collect money through a levy, which is a property tax on King County homeowners that is being collected to stand up 5 crisis care centers throughout King County, and then also to help create more supportive services around crisis work. So we've been able to add more money to the programs that do the mobile crisis response, that work at 988, that put in behavioral health folks in the 911 system, so that when people are having a crisis and they call for help,
You get the appropriate.
you get somebody who understands mental health as opposed to just getting the cops.
Right.
And we all know, especially in communities of color, that the police are not always the most useful in a mental
Or
health
culturally
crisis.
sensitive, to put it slightly.
Yes.
Yep.
And so it's great to be here with both of you, since we are able to partner with different organizations in different communities to make sure that people know what is available and how they can get help. And for example, Rommy and I did an event last year that was amazing. There were about 110, 120 people at the event. And it started out so beautifully because one of the kids started the program by telling the audience about how important it was that if adults cared about their kids,
Right.
that they would take care of their own mental health.
Oh, calling the parents out.
It's Ayana.
I
was her
love
name.
that.
Yeah, it's for us. Our first goal has been to make people understand that mental health is foundational. A lot of us as immigrants, we come because we want a better future. We want better things. We want a big house, a big troca, you know. But it doesn't matter what you get if you are not caring about your mental health.
Right.
Things are not going to be sustainable.
Right.
You need to take care of your mental health first. That should be your priority. And this is why we invite Itzayana that night, because we wanted people to know how important it was for children. Sometimes children don't need fancy clothes, a fancy car, or, you know, a lot of things. They need healthy parents,
Right.
mentally healthy parents.
Right.
So that was the way how we started that gathering, which, it had more than 130 people there. And we also have a guarderia, we have daycare, which actually daycare now has evolved to this daycare with purpose, where we
great.
take advantage that we have the kids there and we want them to play, have fun.
Yeah.
But also we do these little workshops where they learn basic things about mental health, like learning how to identify your feelings.
Right. Yeah.
Learn how to embrace even those feelings that don't feel quite right. It's important.
Yep.
It's important. So
I resonate so much with this because it's such an important topic. Like you said, sometimes parents compensate for what we can't provide or not addressing the issue. It's here, let me give you more toys, or let me give you but if we're not mentally sane, or I don't know how to put it, or on your journey to recovery, then it's like it's almost like covering the issue under the carpet. It just gets, and it then becomes multi-generational, right? Like, because what's happening oftentimes in our cultures is men don't talk about, well, in many cultures, are you also here, but men don't talk about their emotions, right? Like, men don't cry. And then you put in all these barriers that get built and that gets shown or to the kids, and then the kids learn that, and it's like, no, you don't talk about emotions and without knowing advertently, right? Like then that continues this trauma that began from the parent or the grandparent or whatever the case is. But Rommy, tell us, what are some early signs that someone might be struggling with their mental health? How do you teach, or how do you talk about this for someone to recognize so that something resonates?
Actually, I want to mention that this is a topic that we've been presenting every month with our youth team called Mi Mente Mi Fuerza Club. They talk about this, about warning signs.
Right.
And then a lot of us, we may think the warning signs are like something really bad, that a person is like doing something extremely negative, and that's like when you say, oh, that's warning. But no, warnings are just changes.
Right.
Changes that you need to look.
Some compass, right?
Yeah, you need to look changes in the mood shifts, maybe in the mood. Like, is this person maybe is very irritable? And we all have a family member, especially in Latino families. We all have someone who probably is working a lot, and then you just think he's tired, but maybe he's also being challenged, mentally challenged. If you see the behavioral changes, like this person maybe is skipping school, not going to work, or just, her work performance or her performance overall is declining. Right. You also need to look at physical signs, and this is something very important, because you may see, and that's what I see a lot now that I'm working more with youth lately, kids who are oversleeping.
Right. That's a sign of depression, no?
Or
like
not
sadness.
sleeping at all.
Oh, goodness. With the phones now, right? Like we stay.
Yes. Or kids not eating. Now there is a lot of eating disorders. The social media, it's bringing a lot of insecurities to our kids, especially if they are not educated about how to use all these new tools,
Right.
And also you have to look at if you are dealing with kids, if you have children, you have to see how they're doing at school, because I have a lot of parents who bring their kids and say, she just was so good in math, and then out of the sudden she stopped, her grades are going down, and we don't know what happened.
If it's a sudden change from like a normal type of behavior,
And many of these times, we are not looking for labels or to judge somebody. We're just looking for these changes, and it's not about judging. It's about caring us to check in. Right. And it's important that we always have an open communication, and then even when the person says, I'm fine, and it doesn't really match with what you're seeing,
your behavior,
just always be aware of the changes. I think that's the best way how to spot warning signs.
Thank you. That's very comprehensive. This brought me to thinking about the book, The Body Keeps the Score, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, which when your body reminds you of the trauma that happened. So if sometimes, if you got into an accident, you don't actually, addressed it mentally, right? Like it'll come back to haunt you 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
Like, so something that
touching
you lived
your once.
Exactly. Something you lived like 10 years ago, you didn't deal with it, or your body's gonna be like, hello, this happened to you, let's talk about it. And if you don't, and if you keep it just keeps getting worse and worse. So thank you for sharing that. That's really important, and we'll share all of this information on the legends and on when we share this podcast, so that they can contact you and your organization. Idabel, tell us, so as a government organization, right, or a governmental organization, what can you tell us, like what the approach, right? Like, what do you want to know? What are the things that you're working on now, or that the initiative is looking? What are the priorities, I guess you can say, as it relates to where the initiative is, and what are the things that, what are the priorities, I guess you can.
I think the three most important things that I would say we would want people to know is that even though the crisis care center levy won't have all 5 crisis care centers ready to go soon, that there is already one that's available, and it's called Connections, and it's in Kirkland, and anyone can go there. It doesn't matter if they have insurance or not. It doesn't matter about their immigration status. It doesn't matter if they speak different languages. They are able to take anyone who shows up at the Crisis Care Center, and you can get help through them in 3 different ways. So the one that I think people should know first and foremost is that they have a behavioral health urgent care. So just like when you have strep throat and you can't get into your doctor, but you don't want to go to the emergency room, you would go to an urgent care. And so it's the same thing. If somebody is feeling like they're having a crisis and they get to decide what that means for them,
Right.
they can go to the urgent care and get help at Connections in Kirkland. The other things that would be important for folks to know is that if you or a family member or friend is having a crisis and you're trying to help them, they can call or text 988 and they can get help through them. We have more mental health counselors that are staffing 988 now, so they can help you through figuring out what you need. And so if you are in a crisis and you need to go to the crisis care center, 988 can dispatch the mobile crisis team, either for youth or for adults, and they will come to your house or wherever you are, and they will help you figure out what you need and what to do next. If you need to go to the crisis care center, the mobile crisis team can take you to that site.
Wow.
So there's things that are in place already that people can access for help. And that's what we want people to know, is that there is help available. You don't need to have insurance, and
it's free.
And it's free.
That's great.
And that it can be in any language that you need it to be.
Oh, that's the key word, right? A lot of people who listen to us are not necessarily in King County, so this is definitely King County initiative. And the 988, obviously, it has to be King County, right? Like, because if they could they perhaps somebody who doesn't live in King County call this number? They may not be able to get dispatched right staff, but would they be able to
still
talk
get
to or
resources,
speak to someone?
yeah, in their area if
That's
they're
great.
not here.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Well, this is free resources available in your language and really more appropriate, right? Like, because what you said oftentimes is like, oh, a crisis, and then 911 gets called, and it's very inappropriately managed because the police officers are not trained to deal with a mental health crisis situation. So this is so needed for the community, and I'm really happy that ladies are working on this. Idabel, what are some of the biggest gaps that you're currently seeing, in your opinion, maybe, in mental health care systems locally? Like, we're addressing these things, but what's missing? What are the gaps?
There's a huge workforce shortage. There are not nearly enough people who are trained as therapists or mental health practitioners. And then on top of that, there are definitely even less that are culturally and linguistically appropriate for the communities that need help, especially right now during all of the things happening to our communities of color and immigrant and refugee communities. I think that we are desperately trying to find more people to work in mental health services and substance use services, and that has been underfunded for millions of years, it feels like.
Right. I think advocacy is what we need, and we have to. But I feel like the more we talk about these issues, the more we normalize what needs the services. Because oftentimes when cities are going through their budgets and it's like, art goes out the window, or, mental health, or things that they don't feel are needed, whereas these are absolutely needed. So I think, what can we do to ensure that these topics are being taken seriously and are at the budget tables within cities, is advocating and, getting to vote and getting to speak up, right? Like, there's always opportunity to say something about, like, when these discussions are happening, you could always just say, this is important to the community and your voice is heard. So thank you for sharing that. Rommy, going back to signs and how to help our community and how you see it, what's one simple thing that people can do to support a friend or a loved one who may be going through a rough time?
Yes. Well, first, I will recommend you all to take the mental health first aid training that NAMI is providing for free in English and in Spanish. It's actually you get a certification that it's a very important certification, because this is a international organization who is providing this training. Right now, I think I have the dates here. There is one virtual in Español on May 9th.
Okay.
It's a long training. It's from 10 to 5. And you have to do some pre-work online for like about an hour to 2 hours. And there is other one in English on the May 22nd, 2022. Also at the Together Center is in person. It looks like it's in person from 10 to 4:30, and it's in English. But just kind of, I always think that everybody should have this action plan.
Right.
Is you and having somebody close to you who is going through a crisis. And then I always think about this, you just need to think about these 5 steps. First is noticing. And then we already talked a little bit about the warning signs. You have to, if you see those changes happening, that you have to reflect about them. You have to realize, is this actually a sign that is a warning sign? Is this person going through a mental health struggle? Then after that, you have to ask. And then that's very important. Sometimes we don't like to ask people.
Like,
exactly. But
like
when you're doing something, you're trying to help somebody's mental health, you have to be direct. And you have to ask, do you need anything? Is everything okay with you? I notice that you've been skipping classes and you used to love them, and then now you are not going to the dance class with us. Is everything okay at home? I mean, is everything okay with you? You have to ask those questions. Create the environment so people can open up and talk to you about that, share what is going on. And this is why we also have support groups.
Right. Something that goes beyond, how are you, right? Like, because how are you is such a superficial, I'm hitting the microphone.
Yeah.
So, such a superficial question. When you actually get to the, hey, I noticed, and it gets personal, then people are more willing to maybe share what is that, what's the challenge.
And be direct doesn't mean that you have to be judgmental. Just be direct, be clear.
Like, what's wrong?
And
you
try
look
to
like
find,
you're sick. Oh, I hate when people do that.
Exactly.
You're like, I know, I just wasn't wearing makeup.
Yeah.
I swear I feel fine.
No, that's true. And then try to find the right moment and the right space, find the private
Take aside. My goodness.
Yeah. And the third one will be listening. And that's so important. That's a skill that I feel like everybody should learn. Listening is a very hard skill.
Oh, yes.
Listen, and not judge. Validate their feelings. That happens a lot to us as a Latinos. As you feel upset, what your mom will tell you or what your uncles will tell you. You're just, being lazy. Or you're crazy. Don't validate feelings. I think that's also one thing we try to do a lot in our workshops, so people learn how to validate their own feelings and others' feelings as well. The second one will be support. Ask them, what do you need right now? Try to be open and advocate at that moment to encourage that people to maybe find professional help. I think anyone here in this table is a mental health specialist, but we all can be bridges. We all can be a liaison between a person who doesn't know what to do,
right,
and then to the other side where this person can find the help that they need.
That bridge, that connection.
Exactly. And then the other one will be protect. And that's very important, because if you're at a situation where you see that this person is, showing signs of that she's talking about self-harm, or is this person is saying goodbye to the world. And then we see that a lot in the social media situations. We see that a lot, like people like talking, writing posts about leaving this world. That's when you have to take action immediately. You can call to 988. There are so many other resources that you can find. Actually, I have them here. There are the Ting link. There's another number. You can find the number. I actually share some images for
put
you.
It on
the Trevor Project for LGBTQ
that's
communities.
I've heard about that one. Yes.
The National Runaway Safe Line.
Okay.
SAMHSA National Helpline as well. It's a good one that actually you can call from any part of the country.
Amazing.
And then also, it's always good to know that you have people, organizations close to you.
Right.
In a situation like this, that you see these people is in a big risk, yes, please call 988.
Right.
And maybe
don't wait until.
Yeah.
I think I saw some. No. If you saw it.
Exactly. But it's just still in the process that this person maybe still have a chance to discuss a little bit more about her or his situation. Try to find a trust adult if you're a kid. If you are a youth, try to find a coach, a teacher, or even a family member who you feel that this person trusts.
Right.
Also find for local organizations like us, like NAMI Eastside. You also, as Idabel mentioned, call to 988. All these lines, including 988, has people who are professionals who has been trained to how to navigate people through crisis.
Right.
And you can, it's completely, you don't have to say your name. You can just
anonymous.
text. Yes. So I think there are a lot of resources that this is why it's so important to create these spaces with the community where they feel comfortable to talk about this and also at the same time feel informed, live up an event that they eat really good food and have a really good time with their friends, but also they took a lot of information that it can be useful at any time. And as being working in NAMI Eastside for more than 3 years, these crises are happening more than ever.
Oh, sure. And more frequently and less noticeable maybe sometimes. Yeah. I think this is, oh my God, thank you for all these resources. We'll make sure that all of these links that you mentioned will be at the podcast and also in our resources for if you call Centro Cultural Mexicano, we can share those. But I love that you said in looking for signs, if you don't need to, if you don't, how to say this, follow maybe your intuition too. Like if you see something is off, maybe there's something off and you don't want to be the one approaching this person. Like you said, go talk to someone that can help you or an adult or an organization or provide, but don't let it, don't ignore it, because if something's off, if you feel like something's off with someone that you know or someone that you love, it's because something is off. So thank you so much for all those big tips. You really delivered on all the things that we could be doing.
I think the other thing that I want to also highlight in that is that in many Latino families, we don't talk about drug use or substance use or drinking, and
drinking is normal.
Well, and that's the thing, is that kids see their parents drinking.
You go to a gathering, it's like, you don't want to drink? What do you mean you don't want to drink? It's like, no, I don't.
And so that we want to make sure that people know what the warning signs around that is, and what can be done around overdoses, and making sure you have access to Narcan to use in an emergency, and making sure that if you see your cousin showing up drunk all the time suddenly,
it's a behavioral change,
that you say to them, hey, I've noticed you've been drinking a lot more. What's going on? And I don't think that tends to happen a lot in families that are very Latino, because it is such the norm in many families, because there's so many things going on. I think that also you want to make sure that if you're talking to somebody about it, that you're normalizing it in the fact that people do it all the time, and what the difference is between just having a drink with dinner or being blackout drunk.
I think normalizing things, and the more that we bring it to the table or ask or talk about, the easier it'll be to then get to the actual, because alcoholism, right, without speaking about addiction, stems from some type of trauma, right, that leads to mental health. It's just a band-aid in essence. Thank you. So a question for both of you. Maybe I'll start with you, Idabel. What does Mental Health Awareness Month mean to you personally and perhaps professionally? I mean, you're doing lots of amazing work, right? So I'm sure there's a personal and professional, personal side of that. So if you want to share a little bit about it.
I know that having grown up in my family, there were a lot of mental health issues that no one talked about. Everyone, tengo un ataque de nervios all the time when I was a kid. And I was like, what does that even mean? But nobody could tell me or was willing to. And so I think that it is about taking all of those things that families deal with and bringing them out in the open and communicating about them. I think that having grown up in a Latino family where there were so many issues around poverty and racism and all of the terrible fights that had to happen to just survive in poor neighborhoods,
right,
that takes a toll on everyone. And no one talked about it then. You just had to keep surviving. And I know that for me personally, that meant a lot of depression as a kid, and making sure that I was addressing how that made me feel as I got older, because it does sort of bleed into every part of your life.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Right.
And so I've been very involved in that work all of my life, because it has been both personal and professional for me.
Thank you. And I love that the labeling, right? We go back to, we need to talk about it. We need to bring these issues to, we need to, not labeling something, just continue, it adds to that mystifying or mystification of a topic. And we ourselves find out like, oh, well, yeah, that was trauma. Like, that was trauma. I didn't call it that such. I survived and I'm sane, or it seems like, but exactly. But I think panic attacks, like I didn't know what a panic attack was, and it could look very differently. And, you may think that someone is fine, but in the inside, they're like having a panic attack. The first time I actually personally had one, I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was like, my chest. And then they're like, yeah, this is what that is. And it's because of accumulation, et cetera, and understanding it is like, oh, now I know how to address it. When I get into these situations, so it's labeling and talking about it that I love to hear that you've been able to transform, right, pain into being able to help others in that same topic. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Rommy, what about you?
Well, I mean, mental health awareness for me is every day. Every day, that's my work.
Live and breathe.
Yeah, I also am a Latina, Peruvian immigrant who I never really understood why I end up here. I just took an opportunity and I moved here. And then I realized that there was a lot of going on after I had my first baby. Actually, I was able to get a job at NAMI because one of the prerequisites it's that you actually have a lived experience with mental health. So for me, it was my postpartum depression. I suffered of a postpartum depression, and then I have to quit my job at that time. It was a very high demanding job. I have to kind of put it on the side because it was impossible to any task.
Right.
When you are suffering of depression in general, it's just, you cannot be yourself.
Right.
You cannot perform as good as you are capable. So for me, it was open I have to open my mind about not only my present as a NAMI Eastside employee, I also have to open my eyes about all my past. And through all the women and families that I meet almost every day, I see my own story. Mm-hmm. Many of us, the Latino people, we went through a lot of things, and we sometimes don't even realize
right.
100%. How traumatized was certain experience, like moving from a country to a new one where you not always feel welcome, or where you just don't know anyone, you don't have a support network at all.
Right.
So for me, it's like one of the things that I feel that makes this work possible is creating spaces for us.
Mm-hmm. Intentional
spaces where people feel just like home again and comfortable again to open up and talk about what's going on in life. You know, having those organic conversations that are nowadays are impossible to have.
Right.
Now you meet somebody and this person is going to talk to you about a lot of things but themselves. Mm-hmm. But how they feel.
Or at the superficial level, right?
Like, yeah, all the time. And then when we get these women, because we have 3 Latino support groups, so we're Juntas de Resiliencia for Latino moms, and we have one in Redmond, here at the Together Center, other one in Bellevue, and another one in Duval. And then we see all these people having for very first time a chance to talk about themselves without feeling judged, or even feeling completely safe, because we make these spaces like 100% confidential. Mm-hmm. Everything that is talked in those rooms stays there. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think it's like, I wish my mom, I wish my grandmother, I wish all my family, my dad, I love him so much, but he also has his own struggles, my mom also, and I wish that they have those spaces. Mm-hmm. I feel that awareness doesn't have to wait until till May. I feel like awareness should be
all year long.
All year long, and not necessarily with strangers. Mm-hmm. With your own brothers, siblings, moms. You know, why we don't open? And then this is great. The best part about NAMI Eastside's work, that we are educating people to just, you know, normalize mental health talkings, normalize conversations about mental health, about depression, about, you know, like we are humans, and just as physical health, right, we also have a mental health that we need to take care. It's not magically that you're gonna be just perfect. You have to put some work. As much as you like your nails, your lashes, and all that stuff that you like to look pretty, you also have to look pretty here. And
feel pretty. Yes.
Exactly.
I love it. Thank you so much. And I think you said a few things that resonated, that made me think of a few things. You know, feeling comfortable, of creating these intentional spaces where people feel heard and valued, mm-hmm, and safe. Intentionally is really important. That's the true meaning of meeting communities where they are. Mm-hmm. Like, I speak your language, you can say it. And sometimes it's like the first time that has ever been spoken. Mm-hmm. And then, woo, you open the door to healing, mm-hmm, and a journey to recovery. And that's beautiful. So I think this made me think that sometimes it's like, yeah, talk to your brother, but sometimes the trauma comes from family, right? It's the father or the uncle. And you don't want to be like, hey, Dad, let's talk about mental health, and then smack, you know, because mm-hmm, it's the person that needs the most healing. So creating these spaces, safe spaces, where you don't have to, you know, you can talk to a complete stranger, and people are there equipped to mm-hmm, guide you through mm-hmm, that process, and that conversation is really important. So yes, follow NAMI for all of the amazing groups, especially the woman that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. You said something about resonating, right? Like, you moved here, and the resilience you think is resilience, but it was actually trauma, right? When you got here, you actually spoke about it, and you're like, oh, wait, yeah, that is, you know, I went through myself a few, you know, important things. I studied psychology, so I wanted to share a little story there. I studied psychology, and at one point for my bachelor's, and at one point I decided to do the social work. And I think I changed for a semester, and I was going toward my internship, and they were going to place me. They actually placed me at a domestic violence shelter, women's shelter, which was one of the most profound experiences as an undergrad. Mm-hmm. And what I didn't recognize is what was triggering in me, because I experienced domestic violence, right? Like, mm-hmm, things that to me, I was like, this is happening, but you don't recognize it as such. Mm-hmm. I was like, I left those, my internship, like every day. I was like, oh my God, like I wanted to cry in the car. And I just didn't connect the dots until I was like, domestic violence, yeah, this is why I feel like I almost in my mind, I did the gymnastics of that happened in the past and it doesn't matter, right? I'm here to help others. But wait, you can't address and help others if you're not acknowledging the pain that you felt for witnessing or having witnessed that. So I think sometimes is recognizing in ourselves, what are those triggers? What is it if something is resonating in not a good way or stirring something in you? That's probably something you need to address or needs attention, right?
And I think that's where the education piece comes in, because sometimes the things that are normalized are the abuse.
Right.
And the trauma.
Exactly, yes.
And that's where we get stuck, because your assumption, if you're brought up being told, well, he just picks on you because he likes you.
It's like,
which is one of the worst things that we tell our female children.
Right.
Oh no, that boy just hit you because he liked you.
Or boys will be boys or whatever.
And
justification
and so
to
we're doing a huge disservice to our kids because we are reinforcing that as the norm.
Right.
Whereas love should not hurt. Being hit does not mean that they like you
or love in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we have to sort of normalize the other side of it. And I think for a lot of families, you just assume that that's how life is, that people slap each other and people yell at each other and people make each other feel bad.
Right.
And that doesn't have to be the way it is. Yeah. But if you don't see anything else, how do you know?
If you're not exposed to, that's not normal. Well, that's not okay more, because it may be normal where you grow up, but it's not okay. And follow your, I keep saying, I'm like mystic, maybe follow your intuition. Doesn't feel good. It's because it's not, and even if it wasn't something that you heard, if it doesn't feel good for you, say it, right? It's not okay. There's
and then
those boundaries.
Those spaces like going to a support group or a junta de resiliencia also give you the opportunity to see how others feel about the same situation that is going on with you. And then we get that a lot. That
it helps open up, right?
Yeah, a lot of women discovered they're victims of domestic violence for several years, and then they join support groups and they notice other people's experience, and they realize
that's what that is, right?
They realize, I've been suffering depression because of that. I've been through anxiety. I didn't know what exactly what anxiety was. I didn't know how that feel. But now it's like this lady's talking about her whole depression journey, and it just feels like my own story.
Right.
So yeah, and then one thing I want to add is something that we work a lot in our workshops, and it's about self-esteem. We believe that no one, especially Latinos, if we are growing in an environment where constantly we feel like we are not important, that we need to change to fit in, that we need to assimilate. We try to also like share that how your identity it's being damaged and how that it's actually like creating effects on your mental health.
Right. A distorted version of what you the identification and
that's something that we work a lot on our Mi Mente Mi Fuerza workshop with these 4 youth that I was well, they're not youth anymore, but they're young, very young Latinos or Latinx youth, and they were like they were discovering that there were structural problems who actually were impacting their personalities or how they thought they look themselves.
Right.
And there's so much. I mean, this is a great topic. we can
talk about this.
Yeah,
yes.
There is a lot of things that, especially for Latinos, our experience is very different. It's very, we've been here for so long. And, in this country, Spanish was spoken even before English.
Right.
So our story, our Latinidad is being here for so long. And then that means also that we've been a lot going through a lot of trauma, and not all of us are able to identify that. And that's when you see things happening. Right. Why I have this person in certain place not representing me? Right. Why I being mistreated at the airport by somebody who looks like me?
Right.
There's a lot of factors that we try to create those spaces so people have those discussions.
Right.
And then we create something from that. We do a brainstorming in every single support group by facilitators who have been trained. Now, that's one thing, that NAMI Eastside has facilitators not only who knows how to manage groups, they also go through a lot of screening to make sure that they're in the recovery stage of their life. So,
like as in themselves?
Exactly. Because how do you help others if you haven't?
Yes, they're like, you have to go through the couch before you graduate with this. And you're like, okay. And for the first time I did therapy, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I have to do this for sure. I love that. And I think you said something, into the distortion or, for your own identity, or how you can identify, or your identity can be distorted by perhaps the loudest narrative does not necessarily is the healthiest, right? It may be a group of people who think that somehow you are inferior, or somewhat your skin, your color, the color of your skin, or you don't belong here, or whatever those narratives that we're hearing a lot here. That's a loud narrative, but that doesn't make it accurate, right? So I think it's being in these spaces and calling it for what it is. That's like abuse, or it's this, or it's that. It's like, oh, I don't have to identify with that, or I don't have to I don't have to become that victim.
Oh, yeah.
And I know who we are, etc. And then we can talk about colonization and the ramifications of all that, but longer story. But I also love the storytelling, right? Like having storytelling. We've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, and sort of when you have these spaces or create these spaces where women share their stories, you can heal, right? You can, I keep calling it heal, but maybe recovery is the better word. It's, through your story, I identify and I open myself to then share something about myself, or I recognize something in what you said that makes me want to say it. So these groups are so important. And so we highly recommend to at least try it, right? For those parents, and if you are listening, youngsters.
We have
send your parents there, right? Or your mom.
I was the very first person who did the support groups in NAMI. I kind of trained myself, and I also took the official NAMI signature trainings for support groups. And I always remember that the very first people joining now are my facilitators. That's a way how to show people that, it really can change your life.
Right. So much so that you can never give back. Well, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share that we didn't talk about, that of the work that you're doing, or something you believe that needs to be said that we didn't talk about?
Yes. I'm going to start inviting everybody to our fifth velada for Latino families on Friday, June 12th. From 6 to 9. It's a long 3 hours event, but you are going to have fun. Enjoy really good food, and also learn a lot, especially about
wherever there's food.
Yes. And
we'll be there.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have self-care baskets for the people. You're gonna also be able to get some gift cards.
Ooh,
and
great.
Then you will have the opportunity to learn about King County's initiative of the crisis centers.
Amazing. Well, we'll put all that information into the legend, or as we share this podcast, so people can refer. But Idabel, anything else that you'd like to share that we didn't talk about?
I think that what I would say is that if folks are interested in the work that we're doing, as far as what we are helping fund and what we are creating, that we have a couple of ways that people can keep in touch with us.
Great. Yep.
We have a website for the Crisis Care Center Levy. We have a great newsletter that comes out that people could sign up for. They can find out what the events are that are happening and how they can get plugged in. So there's lots of different ways for people to keep in touch with us and know what we're doing, and be part of helping us create these programs.
Great. Can people volunteer on either of your organizations?
Yes.
And tell us where we can find you, both of you.
Yes. For most of Latino people, they love to use Facebook. So we do have a Facebook page, NAMI Eastside in Español. You can just look that up there. Also, we have a WhatsApp. I'm trying to find the number. I always forget the number. But we are here at the Together Center. You can always email me. My email is Rommy, ROMY, @nami-eastside.org.
That's NAM as in Mary I, right?
Yes, yes. And we definitely need volunteers because, as you say, we are a grassroots organization. We depends on the people. The people is actually the one who take action and try to make this work better. So we are looking for facilitators. We are trying to open a male support group.
Ooh.
They need it a lot.
Yes, they do.
A lot more than us because they, as you say.
I second that. Third down.
Yeah. We are trying to open a male support group, but it's complicated. It's complicated. But if we also have a new club for youth. If you want to join your Mamás Latina support group and then drop your kid, because it happens at the same time.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. And if you have little kids and you need daycare, we also at the same time in Redmond we provide daycare.
That's amazing. That's really needed because oftentimes our families get out of work, right, and they don't. Either if I go to your place and I don't feed my children or I don't have anybody to take care of them, whereas these services really means meeting community where they are. So thank you.
Volunteers are always welcome at NAMI, and just please reach out to us if you want to have experience doing program management, or maybe if you are just going to school for child services, any early education program. You can come in and help us in the guarderías because we need a lot of help.
Yes.
With everybody who is there is our volunteers. So
amazing.
Yeah, we are just creating a space safe for everybody.
That's great. Volunteers? No volunteers, and
we're not really in a place to.
This is more for nonprofits. Yeah.
Volunteers, but the one thing that we can say is that if you wanted to have us come out and do a presentation. If you wanted us to partner with an organization that you are part of to do some events out in the community, we're happy to do that. There's an email that I can give you that if you want more information, you can reach out to us, and it's ccclevy@kingcounty.org. And that's our Crisis Care Center levy inbox.
Right.
You can ask questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We can help set up presentations and meetings and things. So that would be the best way for folks to get in touch with us.
That's great. And you heard it here and many other places. 988 is the number to call if you yourself find in a situation of a mental health crisis, or of someone, that's a number to call. And if you live in King County, then they can come to you, or they can deploy services to your residents. So amazing. And I don't know why my iPad keeps I shut it off and it's still beeping, so I apologize. But thank you so much, both of you. You're doing great work, much needed in our communities, and through these platforms, our hope is that we continue to spread the message, and this will be home, and we will share more to come, because we are partnering with both of them to raise awareness, and especially with youth, but we should explore for more things. I love the women circle. I know that's we serve a lot of women. Most of the people that we serve are women, so I think that's definitely something we can look into the future. So thank you, both of you, for joining Rommy for second time. I took the organization about a year ago, so this happened prior to me. But I love that we continue to collaborate for such an important topic to
always
serve our
very
communities.
grateful that you guys give us this space, always.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to continue to work with you and partner with you all.
This is the beginning to normalize something that we shouldn't just talk about in the month of May, but all year long.
All year round.
So thank you so much. So Centro Cultural Mexicano, this is one part of the things that we do. There's lots of things. With Cinco de Mayo behind us, well, we're pre-recording this, so I'll say it. So it's Cinco de Mayo is also one of the biggest biggest event. But coming up is Centro Cultural Mexicano is the official sponsor. Oh, well, not official sponsor. Let me back up. Ambassador for the city of Redmond for FIFA. And so we're going to be having one of the big events that are coming up is a watch party. So this is a perfect opportunity to come and party, meet different, celebrate it's Mexico against, what is it? South Africa, I think. Yes. I keep forgetting that. So that's coming up, and then these workshops that we're that we're partnering with, both of these organizations are coming up. But other than that, follow us on social media. There's lots happening, and remember, we're here to serve you and to meet you. To meet our communities where they are. So again, thank you so much, both of you. Look forward to our future collaborations and everything that comes. And to all of you, we'll see you next month. Thank you very much. Bye.
Gracias.